which means the island will go to auction and someone will take it off your hands. You mean I own an island, but I won't get to keep it. Is there really some good news here? I wasn't sure why they even bothered to call me if I would have exactly the same thing after the call that I had before it. Well, he cleared his throat and became so uncomfortable that I could literally picture him sticking one finger into his collar to loosen it up enough to breathe. Well, it's sort of our firm's fault that there are back taxes due. We somehow neglected to tell you that you inherited the island back when it was left to you in a distant relative's will. I've always been the kind of person who can't resist turning the thumbscrews just a bit more when I don't like someone, and since I don't like lawyers, and since I especially don't like lawyers who cost me money, I had to turn that thumbscrew. How does that sort of thing happen, Mr. What did you say your name was again? Mr. Weintraub. Mr. Weintraub sounded young, said too many times for me to think he would ever be a good lawyer, and was getting stuck with making a phone call for a senior partner who had screwed up, so I eased up on him just a bit. Forget it, Mr. Weintraub. I don't really care how it happened. I just don't understand why it's a good thing that I own an island, but I can get rid of it just by letting it go to auction for back taxes. Especially if it was your firm's fault that I owe those back taxes. I may not be a lawyer, Mr. Weintraub, but usually when something is someone else's fault, they have to face some consequences. Consequences like, I don't know, paying some kind of penalty. What's the word you lawyers would usually use? You mean settlement, Mr. Jackson? His voice sounded smaller than before, and I had the impression he had been told his career might be developing just a bit slower, too, unless he could get out of offering me a settlement. Yes, Mr. Weintraub, I mean settlement. I mentally saw the thumbscrew turn, but before another could escape from the junior lawyer, a heavy hitter spoke up. Mr. Jackson, this is Amanda Lee. I'm a senior partner with this firm, and... Ms. Lee, isn't it considered impolite to not tell people when they're on a speakerphone? Something tells me you've been hanging over Mr. Weintraub's shoulder for the last few minutes, listening to every word. I couldn't resist going on the offensive now that I had warmed up on Mr. Weintraub. It was clear from the silence on the other end of the phone that Weintraub was frozen in his tracks, and Lee was probably fuming. She wasn't used to being put in her place by anyone, and she undoubtedly had a good idea she was talking to someone whose total assets were less than the cost of her weekly dry cleaning bill. Mr. Jackson, maybe Mr. Weintraub could have made better use of your time by getting straight to an explanation of how this will benefit you. It wasn't exactly an apology, but it was a step in the right direction. Our firm is prepared to make arrangements for payment of the back taxes on the property in return for your consideration. Consideration for what, Ms. Lee? Not making a public spectacle of the fact that your law firm screwed up? Something like that, Mr. Jackson, she said without being fazed at all. As a matter of fact, we are prepared to cover the taxes and a few amenities that we believe you will find to be very attractive. She said the whole thing as if the words were liquid gold, and each word was delivered slowly. She made very attractive into about 10 syllables, and despite my better judgment, a small part of me hoped she was one of the amenities. Such as? I asked. As Mr. Weintraub said, the island is undeveloped, but it isn't worthless. We could make you an offer for the island that I'm sure would be beyond your wildest dreams. You could retire on what we are prepared to pay you to take this problem off your hands. Up until that point, I was seeing dollar signs, Ms. Lee out on a date with me, maybe my own business, or just retiring young. There was just something about the way she was acting, like she would be doing me a favor. It made me feel like she didn't just consider herself richer than me, but smarter. She was right about the richer part, but sometimes money can make you think you're smarter than you are. That rich guy with the world's worst comb-over who ran for president was living proof of that. A big part of me was saying, draw up the papers.